Hello. Welcome to I love this. I feel very clever. Mr. Christmas is baked with love. I feel like Mondays are reality TV time for Hallmark. And I was trying to figure out how to put the two titles of the shows together. And I came up with Mr. Christmas is baked with love, which is kind of cool, if I must say so myself. Hello, everyone. How are you? Um, let's see. There was a lot to unpack with these two episodes, and I really enjoyed them. I'm going to start off with the first one, which is Finding Mr. Christmas. This is season two. I thoroughly enjoyed season one, and I have to tell you, I knew it was going to be Ezra from the beginning. I just knew it, and Ezra won last year. Now, this year, I have my eye on somebody, and I'm curious to see what other people think. So if you don't mind sharing, it would be great. I don't know if you know the names, but I'm not going to put all the, actually, here's what I'll put up. I'll do this. And it might be hard for you to see them, but this is them at the end. So there's Craig from New York and Drake from Colorado and Robbie from Massachusetts, Angel from Venezuela, but he's here in the States now. Gabriel from, I think that's Wyoming. Jake from New York. We have Craig and Jake from New York. What about that? Rustin, which is such a cool name. I went and looked it up and I didn't realize how popular it really was. Rustin's from California. Marcus is from Ohio. Davey is from, I think it's Nevada, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's Logan, and I forget where Logan is from. What I find funny is in the lineup, we learned the last names of all of the cast. I had to research a bit, but they didn't give Rustin's last name, and they didn't give whose was the other one? I think it was it somebody else's they didn't give a last name, Jake, at first, but then we got it. Then I got it. So anyway, I had to do my little research. I've already got my eye on somebody. I think I know who is might be winning. I don't know what you all think if you want to put a name in there, but I'm thinking Rustin is going to be the winner. That's just who I have my eye on. He reminds me of another actor. I'll talk about that at another time. But when I first saw it, I was like, wait a minute, that's cheating. That guy's already an actor. But I realized, it was a totally different guy. So I wanted to talk about I'm not putting the show down at all, but I do want to talk about some of the cringy things that happened. And they're cringy for me because it's reality TV. I am not a fan of reality TV. It makes me uncomfortable and I don't like to watch it. Except I do like to watch baking shows. And we'll talk about that later because that's coming up. So I thought that the challenges were a lot of fun, but they also made me feel bad. I don't know. Do you feel bad for the contestants sometimes? Makes me nervous. I've always been like that since I was younger. And I liked what they had to introduce themselves in an audition. And the guys, first of all, I loved how we got to meet them and we got to see that gorgeous place. I want to see that place. That place is gorgeous. And do you think they cook for each other or is that all catered? Anyway, that's just a little thought of mine. But anyway, I like how they had to do the audition of being Santa and dress up and show their personality and their creativity. And they had all the half hour, which I thought was hilarious. So he did not win. This is Robbie. That was my favorite. The person who won was Craig, who became Santa, but he's from he said he's from Staten Island, so he had the accent, and I do not talk like them. I have a different accent, but it was like the New York version of Santa, and called himself Santini, and he won, and he was cute. I get it, but I love this one when Robbie came out and he said he was Santa for the paws. And he had a little saying that went with it and his whole little dog dad shirt and whatnot. I liked it. And if it were me, that's the one I would have chosen. It kind of captured his personality. It was nice and neat. It wasn't just thrown together. He had an idea behind it. But again, so was Santini. That was cute too. Now, these are my cringe. This is my first cringe. I felt so bad for Gabriel because he was just struggling and nervous and he forgot what he wanted to say. And it was like so awkward. And Melissa Peterman tried her best to kind of like make him calm down. But it was just, I have to fast forward over it. Even when I go back to take my notes, it makes me so nervous. I don't know about you, but this was a little cringy for me. Um, by the way, Hallmark dresses Melissa and Jonathan like fantastically. Sometimes it's like a lot of times it's whimsical and it's like over the top, but it's so cute. They both look so adorable. I want them to make some outfits for me so I can wear them to my classroom like during the holidays. Okay. Then we've got this part. Now this is the actual coming down and like a slope and skiing and acting. What? Here's me. Where is the stunt person? You were asking them to do something, people, that I thought that they could get injured. Like, you know how they're so protective of their actors. I've had many actors on saying they wanted to do more stunt scenes. I remember Jesse, he wanted to be a stunt person. He loved that, and he wanted to do his own stunts. And Chris McNally, when he came on, he wanted to do more stunts, and he actually got to do a lot of the running and stuff in his mystery tip line. And yet they're very protective because you could hurt yourself just even running. And I was like, wow, they really made these guys ski. So here's the funny thing. It's a meet cute, right? They have to act. They have to do their thing. The funny thing was the reactions of Melissa and Jonathan. They were dying back there, and I have I took a screenshot of it. But here we go. We've got two guys, Marcus, I remember, and Craig. You can hear them in the background when they were talking. They've never been on skis. There were other people that have never been on skis, and I thought it was smart of Craig that he was the winner. And what he did was he made himself last. Now, I heard some of the guys saying that hurts your nerves or you should go earlier. I know what he was thinking, but I thought he was thinking he'd want to watch out and watch everybody so he could not make their mistakes and learn from them. But instead, he was more focused on how they were skiing. He was so nervous about that. So that's why he wanted to go last, because he wanted to study everyone. Angel came in. Now, Angel has some acting years behind him. So Angel came in and he totally like wiped out, and he sort of did like this whole role. But what was so cute was how he used that, where he's like, I was blown away by your beauty. And he played into it and he used it, which is really good. That's what an actor sometimes needs to do. And then when they have those little flubs, they keep it in because it's so natural. It comes out good. I like that. I was like proud of him. And this scene here, this one, I mean, this poor guy, it was just like wipe out city. It was hilarious. I mean, even Janelle, the way she reacted towards it, and she was like, "Oh, that was like a hardcore," and they kind of played into it. But that another one that cracked me up, and that was a little bit like nerve-wracking for me. And then Robbie, he got his lines mixed up, and he called Janelle a beautiful jerk, a jerk woman or girl or whatever. And I was like, okay, we got a lot of cringe going on here, which was funny. Um, this is them. They were like rip roaring, having a good time, laughing at these people falling. Oh my gosh. And then poor Gabe flubbed his lines again. And I'm like, bud, I know you're taking acting lessons, right? You need to like be careful here. Jake, he messed up his lines, but the man's never acted. He's a retired professional football player, right? Then, of course, here comes Rustin. Look at the little smirky smile he gives. And he just played into this. And those two had chemistry. I liked it. I was like, oh yeah, he's got to be the winner of this challenge. And he was. In the end, he was the winner. Again, I thought that he was going to be the winner even before I actually saw him acting. And we get down to, here is the winner of the night, right? And this is who had to leave. Mr. Jake. Mr. Football player man. Um, I'm sorry, I got an alert. And he's from New York. He's not far from me. And he looks like he's like a nice guy. I'm watching his Instagram account. You can follow all of these guys. And he's like, if you don't want spoilers, don't look, because he was talking about, and showing flashbacks of things that happened on episode 1. And he is the first guy to leave. Does anybody have a favorite yet? Anyone? Anyone out there have a favorite? I'm just curious. I'm curious to see who you think, who's going to make it so far. I mean, it's kind of early, I get. So then that was a wonderful 1 hour. It flew by. And then we get to Baked with Love. Okay. This, I don't know about you. I even went as so far as to do some research. I was wondering if maybe somebody in production from the British Bake Off had something to do with this, because they have stolen or have used quite a bit of their content. So in the British Bake Off, which I love, I've seen every single one this season they've had, and even their specials, they always show drawings that look something like this, and they describe what the plan is for the baker. And I was like, this looks very much like British Bake Off. And then here they all are, the host and the judges, talking about the baking and who's standing out, and having a little coffee or tea or trying the dessert or whatever, while the other contestants were trying each other's Yule logs, which was really nice. And this is very much like when they go into the separate tent on the British Bake Off and talk. So I was like, there was even times that I thought that Tamara, she had a bit of a touch of a British lilt to her voice. I don't know. I don't know what you think. I don't know. But these winners get $50,000. That's a lot of money. I could do some great things with $50,000. I thought that was great. Now, when they were all walking in, that was another thing. You see them coming in together, and they're playing that music in the British Bake Off. They're in those big tents. Now, this is, what did she say? She said, "Welcome to the Baked with Love barn." And then it was all set up. I don't know. It's very, very much British bake vibes. What do you think? Yeah? No? All right. So some of the things that I found interesting was, first of all, I'm Italian, right? I love these two, mother-daughter, Rosa and Rosanna. I'm Roxanne. My grandmother called me Roxana, but it's Roxanne, Roxanne. But anyway, these two, the first challenge was for them all to bake a pie, right? These two make a pie. This is their Christmas pie. They use it. They said so when they're opening gifts and whatnot, then they could just have this ready and they have something to eat. Well, I'm Italian, and that's ham pie. Okay. We eat that at Easter, and it has, ham, some have prosciutto. It depends upon where you're from and how you make it. And I think Tamara said it almost looks like a quiche, and it kind of can have that kind of quality. So I was like, ham pie, look at that. And ours actually has hard-boiled egg in it too. And I recognized that. And I was like, it looked good, and they were complimented on it. So I'm like, yes, those Italian girls know how to cook. Now, this is Sally and Amy, mother-daughter. They're Southern, and that peach pie looked amazing, and I knew they were going to win the challenge. I mean, it just looked like they knew what they were doing in that kitchen. They were nice and neat, had it down pat. I think even when the judges and the host were having a conversation, she said that to Mara. She said when she walked by, she felt like those two were almost professional together. So looks good. Makes me want to eat pie. I'm Italian. I make it at Easter. Yes, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I mean. And some Italians, for this pie that's back here, don't make it like this. I do. But some Italians, like in my family, they made this, my filling that I use, but I use the pie crust that's my mother's, and I don't put the top crust on it. Some people do like pizza cane. They make it's sort of like a thinner dough, and it almost looks like a loaf with the filling inside of it, and you cut it. My aunt who does that has a lot of sugar in that one, even though it's savory. There's still sugar in it, but it's so good. It's so delicious. I'm wondering, Joanne, do you put hard-boiled egg in yours? I'm just curious. Okay, so then they had to do a Yule log. And this is the Yule log that they complimented quite a bit, and it had pistachios and a mascarpone cream. It looked fantastic. I will never. Oh, you do. You probably got a very similar recipe. Um, I tried making these. I can't stand when you have to work with sponge and you have to roll it. It is just not my thing. Now, Christina, if anybody knows Chrissy from the Chris McNally fan page, she makes pumpkin rolls. She and her sisters, those girls just pump out I don't know how many out of their kitchen. So they're good at rolling it. Me, I'd be crying. I couldn't do it. Mm-mm. Yes. Now you're on the Pizzelle kick. Yep, it's that time of the year. All right. So, one of the things that I thought was cute was, oh, first of all, these girls here, they were their mother daughter also, and they had their Aunt Mabel, not Aunt Mabel, their grandma Mabel's um cookbook, and they were making recipes from it. And when they were doing their Yule log, they made something that had raspberry and peppermint. I love both. I am a raspberry freak and a peppermint freak. But I was thinking to myself, peppermint, you just got to be careful with peppermint. Peppermint with chocolate, peppermint with vanilla. I'm okay with that. But peppermint with raspberry was just no. And it was cute because they, at the end, the contestants were all tasting each other's stuff, and they were so complimentary with each other's, and some people tasted it and said it worked for me. I'm not a judge, but I like those flavors. No, no. Although it was beautiful, I'm like, no, where'd that come from? And you could see the girl's face. She was a little stunned, but she had the cutest moose pie. I forgot to take a picture of that. Her pie with the moose faces on. Oh, that looked good. And I love rhubarb. And they complimented her on that. And it's her grandmom's recipe on the filling and whatnot. But I think maybe the dough was undercooked. A lot of people in all these baking shows, they don't give them enough time to like get it out and get it done, especially when it's their first bake. And I love that they're calling it a bake. That's how they do it in England. They call it the bake. Their first bake, it's hard for them like to get the knack of the timing down. And everything's always soggy bottom or undercooked raw. And that makes me sad for them. I loved where I think it was the father and the son, where he's like, get the beans. He's like, beans? He's like, they're baking beans. And then he showed him how to use the baking beans, right? But then there was another group, I think it was the mother-daughter, where she didn't put a layer of parchment between the crust and the beans. So she had to like quickly, they get hot, pick them off. I know they're called baking beans, and sometimes people use real beans, but they had the baker's beans, which are almost like little weights. It reminds me of something that's made with like some form of like a cement or whatever, and it really does help keep it down. And it was funny how some just didn't even know about that, which was great. Let's see what's here. Okay, so here's this. So that Yule log with the chocolate and the pistachios, that was complimented. I was kind of shocked. Not that I didn't think they shouldn't have won, but I felt like when they were going around and talking to the contestants, and even afterwards when they were evaluating them, they didn't really play up these two. They kind of played it a bit down. And for them to win, right? Was it Susan and Summit who won? I was like, oh, they're the winners, right? Is that who won? Or do I have that wrong? I was like a little like, oh, I was a little surprised. But I love these two, and I wish they got to stay longer. And it looked like they had really good ideas. And when the dad was talking about why he baked, he was getting emotional over it. And it just, I know somebody's got to be the first to go, and because their stuff was underbaked and whatever, they struggled. So they were the first to go. I know I'm saying I'm tired, I guess. When I get done, I want to like eat those pies. I want to go make a pie. I want to make a spun. I don't want to make a Yule log though. I do, but I don't. I wish I could make one, but no, no, no. I'm excited to see where this goes. I have no idea who the winners are going to be, but maybe I would think it would be these two. I just get this vibe, this mother-daughter team. That's who I'm thinking. Here's my takeaway for Monday night's reality TV. I like it. If we're going to do reality TV for Hallmark, this is the way to go, I think. It's fun. I know it's not like live, of course, it's pre-recorded. That's fine. Most stuff of that stuff is. I like how they keep it under wraps. Everyone's quiet. Even me, because I get the screeners and I'm like, what? Not for this. I get so nervous. Like I already know who was eliminated in episode 2 for the Finding Mr. Christmas. But I think this is cool. And I'm hoping that it's something that they continue and that the fans really like it. It's fun it's so like clean, fun, watch with your kids kind of thing, snuggle under the covers on a Monday night, record it. I got it, and I didn't even have to record it. It showed up. I just checked it out. It showed up on my TV. I know things go on Hallmark Plus. I don't know if these two are the next day. Usually they do, but I got to see it right on my on demand because I have on demand. I know a lot of you have streaming systems, so I'm not sure how that works. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm rooting so far now for Sally and Amy. That's who I'm rooting for. And I think Sally and Amy should make me a pie, a peach pie. I want one. Yeah, I'm hungry for it. All right. So my recap. I will be back next week. It would be fun if I could have the contestants on that are not on anymore. And then we could talk a little bit about how it was and behind the scenes. I think that would be fun. But who knows? I've got so much to do. Before we go, I wanted to remind you that Mistletoe Murders is coming on Friday. It is the third mystery, which is episodes 5 and 6 for season 1. It's my favorite one for this season. I've already got halfway through season 2. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. And while you're watching Mistletoe Murders, Kathy and I, who's my co-host for it, we have the whole lineup. We've got everybody coming on. We got the showrunner coming on. We've got my beloved. Now Sarah's busy. She'll be cruising and stuff. I already talked to her about all this, but not that I don't want her on. She's a busy gal. We got Peter. Peter is coming on, and Sierra, who plays the daughter, and we have Sue, the actress who plays Sue, and Brooke. I mean, whoever wants to come on, they're coming, and we get to talk to them and ask them questions. And next week I'll be back. We'll be talking more about who won and who got booted from Mr. Christmas is Baked with Love. All right, everyone, you have a good night. Thank you for tuning in.